Good morning all, and welcome to today's Sunday Q&A on what is shaping up to be a very sunny bank holiday weekend. They never happen. Lovely. I mean, I don't know, because I'm recording this Saturday morning. I want to do it Friday night. I want to do Friday night, get everything done, because I'm in the office now. So I'm getting the hang of things in the office, and as I get a better idea, I will be doing videos on how to post loads on the exchange, how to check the diary on the exchange. I don't use the computer that much. Also, because I'm now in front of a computer screen, I'm wearing glasses all day long, which means I'm developing the tiny eyes of a shrew. Because that seems to happen when you wear glasses. Things think, don't they, really? But can't help it, really. I can see the screen without them. It's just a bit of I can see it better with them. So I think that's the point of glasses. Marvellous inventions. They're basically just magnifying glasses on bits of sort of plastic. Clever that, isn't it? So what have we got this week? Firstly, as introductions, Ian Coyle says, nice pen. Thanks, Ian. One for you there, mate. It's coming to you now. There it is. Just grab it out the other side. And Shane Hardy says, happy anniversary, Pete. Another good Q&A. Thanks very much, Shane. I just put that one in there because the missus drew me. She draws. She copies. She calls herself the Forger. So, and I keep throwing her for the one. I don't really know why, but I keep throwing her like superhero things to draw. So she's drawn me a great big Captain Britain. We've never had Captain Britain. We've had Captain America and Thor and Spider-Man and all that. But there is a Captain Britain, and they reckon old Henry Cavill might play him if they ever bring a film out. So if the microphone goes flat, because I think I left it on. Still going green? Yep. I'll have to edit it, in which case I'll show you a picture. If it doesn't, just thanks. Right, so before we start, I keep mentioning that I'm going to do something on the TikTok and the Instagram, but you've got to make them short, so I was going to cut my videos down. But that's proved to be a pain because the aspect ratios are all wrong. One's 16:9 and the other's 9:16, so one's portrait and one's gallery or landscape. And also, since I've been working in the office, I kind of lost the impetus. So at the moment, the videos you're seeing are ones that I made when I was out on the road, but I've only got a couple more of them left to go. And so what I thought I'm going to do, and because they're supposed to be short videos, I'm going to introduce a new regular feature to the show, which is a question of the week. So what I'm going to do, because someone says that if you do these, you can tag something, or someone asks a question and you can tag an answer on the end, or you can answer a question and they can tag something on the end and you can reply, and I had no idea how this stuff works. But so I'm going to pick out a question every week, and it's not going to necessarily be the best question. Don't sit thinking, my question was better than that. My question related to, weights on vans. Your one was just like, how many carrots can you carry? But that won't be that one. I don't know who's ever asked that question. I can guarantee I'm not going to get another question saying, how many carrots can you carry? Why do I do this to myself? But it might be like a regular question, like how much money can you make? What is a short wheelbase van? Blah, 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 because it's going to be easy. Just like the old days when I used to just record a 3-minute video, go like that, post it. It's going to be a 1-minute video. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to record some shorts for them too. I'll put it on YouTube too, but I might put it on them during the week and then put it on YouTube later or something like that. I haven't fully worked it out yet. This, in fairness, is just a blatant attempt for anybody who to try to get them to tune into other channels, because it's just all free subscribers and stuff like that. And it's all wonderful and it helps you with things. I've got a couple of things in the pipeline. I've got something might be coming up, might be on the telly. Say no more. Telly in the loose sense of the word, but might be on the telly. Also, I've got a video coming up, which is clickbait, and I'm going to massively apologise for it now. But as I will explain in the video, I actually think I might be able to get you guys something for nothing. So I've got to do it. It's got to be worth doing. That's the intro. Without further ado, this week's video were daily timestamp 4:26. What happens if a job goes wrong? And I mean, I've had a couple go wrong lately. I had one go wrong the week after, didn't I? Really, but this one was Jesus. So Shane Hardy says, rubbish event with a bit of good news in the middle. Well done for the kid and the kid's boyfriend. Pleased for them. Yep, he's moving in 3 weeks yesterday, which means he's coming here 2.5 weeks. It's only for 2 nights. I can live with that. It's fine. We're moving him in. Hopefully it'll be work well. Cool. Thanks, Shane. Dale Steele says, When a job gets reposted, the absolute last thing you should do is lower the price. Guys like that need putting out of business. You need to invoice for return costs too. They don't want to pay issue court proceedings. It isn't about the £100. It's just think if you let him get away with it, he's going to treat others like that. It's a reasonable point, Dale. There's a couple of things I would say. Firstly, if a job comes up, and you're right, if it's been reposted, you know they can't move it, so you know that they're struggling. But if it suits you down to the ground, and it was so short, and it's so red, like forked on, forked off, 20 miles straight loaded, straight off. The problem is he lied. If it would have been what he told it to, it would have been absolutely fine. And as for the court proceedings, as I've said before, it's like sometimes when you get a parking fine. So you challenge it, so you write you a letter, so you challenge it, so you write you another letter, and eventually, after 5 letters and 6 months, you win, and they let you off for 65 quid. And then you start working back through the man hours, and you go, I have put 20, 30 man hours into fighting this thing, plus posting things off, plus emailing things off and all that kind of stuff, to save myself 65 quid. And if you work that down, you say, well, I'm getting paid £1 an hour for this. It's not worth the grief. Sometimes it's just better to wipe your mouth and walk away. And that's exactly what I did. But you're right, it's a matter of principle. But if it's a matter of principle, you should fight. The thing is, I'm not running a principle campaign. I'm trying to run a business. And ultimately, for me, it's a matter of money. It's a matter of getting to where I need to be as best I can. But I do agree with you. They shouldn't get away with it. But there's a lot of things in life that aren't right, and they're really so. Still. White man, I feel green. Yeah. White man in the van says, had the same as this where the CX don't allow you to use your legal rights. Had you held the goods, you would have been kicked off the CX, no question, despite the law saying that you can, and you being justified to. The CX expect you to return the goods and then complain if they don't pay. The CX don't expect anything, to be honest with you. The CX just don't get involved. The CX are a business, again, that just wants hassle-free life, and they can't be bothered. So it is down to you, but again, it's the nature of the beast. It's a matter of knowing what it is, working out how you're going to deal with it, and moving forwards. Freddie Fletcher Courier, who's also got his own channel out there. Freddie Fletcher Courier, if I can, I'll do you one link. I don't watch anybody. It's nothing personal. I just don't. I would spend my entire time doing courier things. Why do I want to look at things, people doing courier things? But I know that a lot of you comment that he's there. So little link for old Freddie. Keep up the good work, mate. Men out there that are in vans now that I am not anymore. Pete, don't be soft. You did the job. You need paying for it. Don't let him off, because he will do it to the next driver as well, as a man said as well. Freddie, what can I do, my friend? If it happened all the time, I suppose, then you would have to make a concrete effort to deal with it. But the fact that it happens once every blue moon, I mean, I think when it happened, I pulled over and I spoke to Jem, and I said, I said, this has never happened to me before. And you've got to bear in mind, I've been in the office for 2 weeks. I've been running for nearly 5 years now. And she went, no, it's never happened to me either. So in all the time that we've been running, and all the time that I've been running personally as a courier, never happened. So and again, you think you've got the whole thing sorted out. You think you know exactly what's going on. And then you can guarantee something water pitch you sideways and you go, oh, that's new. Just know how to deal with it. Domain name guy says, the scenario in this video is similar to another scenario, which is he's the stock trading guy, isn't he? He says people lose money because they can't cope losing money. For example, 90% of day traders lose money because they don't realise that losing money is part of day trading, and they can't close losing trades and focus on winning a profitable trade. So they lose even more money, and they can't move on to a losing trade from a positive trade. I think what he's saying here is if you see the money go down, you keep backing it. It's a bit like, you know, there's a thing in poker, isn't it? Oh, you've got so much money in the kitty that you can't fold. It's a bit like so you just keep pumping more and more and more in, and even though you want to be a loser, it's a matter of sometimes you've got to cut loose, walk away, say right now I'm doing this one now. We'll write that one off. We'll start on number 2, and he's dead right. It's exactly what I did. Read it off, and then just move on to the next one. He said, how about adding an hour's waiting time and handball charge in terms and conditions? again, it's all negotiable. Now I'm working in the office. The trucks are on all the time. I had one guy at Amazon this week, my mate Harry. Harry is our driver who hates waiting the most. He normally goes into this Amazon, and it's normally done within an hour and a half. So we don't even do it for waiting time. We give an hour's waiting time for free, but they're a regular firm. It's Charlie out there. I don't know if you're listening, Charlie. You're probably not. They're brilliant. They just ring me up. So I've got a load of jobs. Can you do them? Yep, no problem. Send them through. Great, Pete. You're a legend. I love him. He's the nicest guy. And but this particular day, he went in, and he said, "You're looking at 4 hours, mate." And Harry hates waiting. He rang me up. I said, "Harry, what can I do?" He went in 3 hours later. They said, "Yeah, you're looking at another 3 hours." And Harry gone in the first time, and he said, "Look, I'll tip it myself. I've got a pump truck. I've got a tail lift. I'll take it off myself." And he went, "It's not that." He said, "We've got the staff." He said, "We just haven't got any space." This is, and I rang Charlie, and he turned around to me. I said, "We're in for waiting time, Charlie." He said, "Yeah, of course you are. No problem at all. Lovely guy." And he said, "They're the biggest company in the world and they can't organise deliveries." As it was, when they said another 3 hours and the second one, Charlie said, "Right, that's it." He said, "Give him till 2 o'clock. And say if it's not done by 2 o'clock, we're pulling out." So Harry done this. 1:30, I get the phone call. We've got to bear in mind he was on site at 9:30 in the morning. And this could have been a video on its own, couldn't it? I missed out there. And Charlie rang me up and he said, "Look," he said, "they're now saying 5 o'clock on the email. Pull him out now." I've rung Harry. Harry says, "No, I'm just clearing the gate. I've got rid of it." Good man. Got it off. Rung Charlie. He was going to give me a ton of waiting time. And the return load. I said, "You don't have to pay me. Just pay me for what we've done." "Thanks, Pete." We work together, It's got to be done this way. I'm getting to know people. It's nice. There will be videos about being in the office. And also, sorry, I've cut you short there, Domain Guy. He also does go on, however, to say, because he's on the, he's also very much on the automated vans, and we got a response to this from Ian, the Urban Trucker. Domain name guy says, it's just not because he's on about automated vans, automated lorries when it's going to come in. And I've mentioned it before, but I've said, don't know what's going to happen. We might turn it into a video, in fairness. A scenario about automated forklifts could exist. He said, would you want, basically, how many couriers here would allow and feel comfortable about letting an automated counterbalance or reach fork truck unload their vehicle? Now, I'm going to throw a little thing in the mix just ahead of this, which is me. I would most certainly let a automated fork truck unload my vehicle, because in my experience, 25% of fork truck drivers think your truck is their brakes. Just driving to the side of it, bang! I'm like, mate! I don't say anything, in fairness. She's a big girl. She's strong, old Veronica. You just think, do you want to just maybe stop slightly before you pick the panel up, as opposed to just crashing into the side of my truck? No, they just do that, and I'm sure automated ones would have all these beepy sensor things, which means it wouldn't happen. Still, I'm in the office now. Don't mention that. Right, so there was a response, like I say, from my mate Nick, the Urban Trucker. He says, "Pete," and this is just a response because this is what we do on this channel. We all talk together, we all take it all on board, and we take away what we feel we need to. He said, "I strongly disagree with the main guy about his view that in 10 years' time we will be jobless with autonomous vehicles taking over." Now, this is good news to anyone who wants to join the Courier Exchange, if he's right. And if I'm honest, I err a bit towards Nick, because I've always said, for a solitary job, you need a lot of social skills. Firstly, legislation is honing in to take years before the government agrees on the needs to put in place. It's going to take years to implement, to put through Parliament, and we all know how the civil servants work. The rules on the Highway Code and the Traffic Act will need updating. That's going to be a minefield on its own. This is more about autonomous vehicles on the road. Not to mention that insurance companies are going to have their heads all around this. Not to mention European governments are going to have to agree on legislation rules for autonomous vehicles crossing borders. The technology these vehicles will need is immense. They would have to know all of the traffic laws for each country, what roads they're allowed on, and even what side roads to be on. This is with trucks, obviously. This is not so much with cars, but this trucks or Even vans is going to be more of a concern, isn't it? Particularly now, you have to have an operator's license to go into Europe in a van. This isn't going to happen overnight. We have had autopilot now for over 100 years, yet we still have pilots in planes and captains on ships who could argue that one of the most technological values ever built into space shuttle is still the astronauts to fly it. These technology companies want you to believe they're coming very soon, but it's not the truth, and they're having a lot of problems. This is just the way of the tech companies getting a bit of free publicity because they know how controversial the subject is. A lot of clickbait. Now, the biggest reason that autonomous vehicles won't be taking over anytime soon, we are humans and we pay taxes. We also have the power of voting. No government is going to want to upset the voters nor to avoid hundreds of thousands of people it's going to put out of work that quickly. I'm not sure about that one. I've been in this industry 30 years, plus every year you hear that autonomous trucks are coming. Well, I'm still here driving a truck. Good man. Will this happen? Yes, but I'll be a very old man if alive when this does happen. I've got a comment to make about ULEZ, but I'll wait till next week. The ULEZ thing's still going on, mate. Bring it on, yeah. I think we have enough to get through this week, mate. Mate, a pleasure as always, you know. So, and he's right. I mean, the one thing I will say about the taxi stuff, not sure about that. You can't stop the progress, okay? They're not stopping robots going into, you know, the distribution centres. Have you ever seen that video? My cousin sent me, because he works at Cardo, the square robots, and how an item of 227 Mars bars can move 50 different locations in the space of a minute, and it drops and it goes dump, 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 and all these little things going all the way around. It's fantastic. It's brilliant the way it goes, like, you know. Yeah, and that's obviously putting a load of staff out of business, which is, you know, just we're going to make a load of the workforce redundant, so we don't need them anymore, which is a lot less tax. But no one stopped it. They can't stop it. We're putting robots in. As for all the minutiae of the plan, that bit I certainly agree with. And also, there is so much more to delivering stuff and being a courier driver than just getting there and getting, you know, it's not A to B. There is so much more to it. I can't find the place, mate. Have you got a booking reference number? It's round the back. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be here, but it's actually over there. Try turning on an autonomous robot truck that actually it's down the road next to the scrapyard. Yeah, good luck with that. And finally, we got a couple of comments on this week, which is true. Dolly says, unfortunately, nice people don't pay their mortgage. No, mate, they don't. Move on to the next one. Brian Webb says, that's what you get for working cheap. Yes, I know, Brian, thank you. The old seasoned lorry driver up the road who's been doing it all his life, who's slowly, him and his son, who are slowly trying to hammer into me that I'm doing it wrong. I'm getting there, I'm just a bit thick. And finally, Robert at Ben Transport says, he's done the old poodle trick on you. Yes, he did. I walked in, the guy had a poodle. I suddenly went, the dog comes up. And I kind of thought, I can't be angry with you now. My wife had this thing once. She said, I was driving down the motorway and this guy came in a white van. Well, what would you expect? From the inside lane, cut straight across from the outside lane. She said, I'm blaming me horn. I pulled up with it. She said, he blew me a kiss. She said, instantly I couldn't work out whether I was supposed to be angry or flattered. Just completely diffused the situation. And as for the puppy dog trick, that's one of the 4 favourite selling things. I can't remember the 4th one, so here's a question here for the wise guys. We're going to straight into the question with the wise guys. Wise guys. Question for the wise guys. Why am I looking at my watch? That's not going to be a timestamp. It's on there. 1839. It's going on a bit. That's still green. Yep. Now, I used to watch Hustle, used to love Hustle, you know, the comment, it's the ex-market trader thing. And there are 4 different selling techniques. There's the negative, the puppy dog, the Benjamin Franklin, and a 4th one. The negative is my favourite, which is, I'll do the other 2 first. The puppy dog is sort of like, here it is, there you go. Do you want to pet it? You can take it home if you like. Bring it back if it's no good. You've sold it. The Benjamin Franklin is, you tell them, it's solid, it's reliable, it's going to save you money. You fact them out, you know, this is something you need in your life. Look, you know, you watch it all the time on QVC. It's light. It's really, the reason it's light is because it's cheap, it's rubbish. It's light, it charges really quickly. It's so much better than the Hoover you get at the moment. You know, this is rubbish, but they've sold it to me. The negative, which is my favourite, is you can't have it. The second you tell somebody that they can't have it, it's the single thing they want the most in the world. I'm thinking about joining the Courier Exchange. Sorry, we're full. Sorry? Yeah, no, sorry, we're completely full. We can't take any more applicants. We've completely... well, no, I want to join. No, we're full. Go on, I'll pay you money. You see what I mean? As soon as you turn around and say you can't have it, they want it. And there's a fourth one. And I cannot for the life of me remember the fourth one. And I can't go through 7 series of hustle just trying to get to the one line. You can guarantee I'll go to the toilet when it comes in and miss it. So if anybody knows what the fourth selling technique is, please let me know. Cheers. Anyway, but sensible wise guy issues, back to talking about couriers. We've got a load coming up on gardening. You can tune out for that bit. Clive Littlewood. Right, now a guy asked about the thermal printer, and it wasn't me who had the thermal printer. It was Dave from Anvil Logistics who's got a thermal printer in his van, and Wayne Rawlins also said it's Dave from Anvil Logistics in his van. Also, Anvil Logistics, another one. We'll do another little link there. Another guy out on the road in the video in the van. Now, I'm not in the vans anymore, lads, but I've said all the way along, it's about getting the information. It genuinely is getting the information across. Now, I ain't in the vans anymore, but Big Beardy's still out there. I think he's just done one recently. I know a lot of people tuning into him. I think he's got a lot of good advice. Freddie Fletcher, like I say, Wayne Rawlins, Van on the Run's not there anymore. He's driving a truck, but still comments from time to time. Cheers. But I'll do you a link over there to Anvil Logistics. If you want to check out another guy, check him out. You know, see what's going on out there. If you're thinking about joining, listen to these guys. They're out doing it now. I'm in the office. Don't mention that. I love it. Honestly, the idea of not getting up to an alarm clock. At 2:30 I got up, 2:30. I get up 2:30, drive to Manchester, and now I kind of I don't get up because I've got to look jobs, next jobs, and then you'll get need a reference number. But I'll tell you what it is as well. This is going on. I'm trying to find my role in the office, trying to sort of bed down, say, what am I supposed to be doing? My eyes really have disappeared into my head. It's kind of like Football Manager. I've been watching that thing Wrexham on the Disney. That's brilliant. The Ryan Reynolds thing, really good. And I've also Ted Lasso, which is the best thing on TV. I'm trying to get hold of a Jamie Tart away top, the orange one. It's not there. You can buy Richmond Athletic. If you don't watch Ted Lasso, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But if you can get it, it's just great. It's just really, really good. And it's kind of like being a football manager. It's kind of trying to keep them going, keep the energy up, and making sure that they're doing it right, and having to pull them in when they're not doing it right. And it's just knowing how to do it. But I'm working. These are all things I'm learning. And I say, when I've actually got some kind of a handle on it, I'll start talking about it. I peek behind the velvet curtain, but at the moment, I'm still on the learning curve. So, right, Cowboy Dan, he says, thanks. He said, I've done some research into converting my. Oh yeah, this was, can you change a Euro 5 to a Euro 6 if you swap the engine over? And he said, I've done some research into converting my old van LPG about emissions that would make it ULEZ compliant, but it won't. ULEZ is based on the original engine and on a number plate. Its modifications, and it's modified. Your number plate will tell the ULEZ camera you're an old vehicle registered before the ULEZ, despite your new clean engine is. Now, I know back in the day I had to get a catalytic converter, and surely this was 20 years ago. But no, it strikes me, and again, which only goes to prove it's not about the emissions, it's just about the money. So you tell me, say, I want to keep my van, I've got an adapter kit, it costs £2,000, I'll put it on my van and it'll clean the air out, and it's actually going to pump out oxygen rather than CO2, it's going to make it the greatest thing ever. Nope, you still pay us the money. It's not, it's just poor people's tax under the guise of ecology. Nick the Urban Truck, I look forward to your comment on the ULEZ next week. We'll carry the debate going. So, and he's actually got a comment here as well. He says, Pete, he said, this is good advice to everybody as well. This is from the Wise Guys. He said, my advice is to get some, to get some damage waiver forms. This is when you're tipping a pallet. Like I've had to tip 2 pallets of stones. John had to do one last week. He had to do an 800 kilo pallet. He was very clever. He reversed the lorry up to the woman's driveway, put the pump truck down, and it just went straight onto the driveway when he pulled off. Very clever. He said, my advice is to get some damage waiver forms made up when your drivers are delivering to residential properties and get customers to sign before you drive onto their property. Put the emphasis on the person taking the delivery. The amount of times I hear people trying to make claims against delivery companies for damages to driveways, drain covers, underground utilities after the delivery, sometimes months after delivery, it can get very expensive and leave liable costs. It's just a way of covering your back, and insurance will thank you too, mate. We've got a thing called Rocket Lawyer, where you need any of these forms. You pay like 30 quid a month, but you need any forms or anything like that, you just ping them and they just send you off. And I think I might do that, so thanks very much for your advice. Right, we're on the trucks. Gonna be a long one today, but like I say, you can tune out the end bit. Probably tuned out by now, in fairness. Steve Campbell. Right, now this is to do with the guy who said, can you just run on a tractor unit or do you need a trailer? Steve Campbell says, if you only need a unit, it will say on the exchange, traction only. Now, I don't tend to search above 18 tonnes, so I don't see the bigger jobs, because there's no point. All I go is, oh, that's a brilliant job, it's exactly what, oh no, it's for a lorry. It's for a big lorry. We got lorries, you know, sort of bendy one. Yep, still green. Yeah, Godzilla said, tractor unit alone, there's a few near me that run as an owner driver. Not sure if I should say whom they work for, but I know their rates are 500 quid a day, which is pretty standard actually. You don't get that much more for a 6-axle than you do for an 18 tonne, but you can get more than one load on it, so you can double up. And it's delivery to supermarkets, so not too far, or maybe they just do short jobs. I also know they don't move 3 days out of 5, so I'm not sure why I would bother. Well, there you go. And Nick's back in on this one as well. He said, Pete, whoever puts an Arctic on the HF is definitely going to need their own trailer. You used to see traction jobs on the HX, but they were very rare. Normally it was Amazon, but I haven't seen any traction jobs listed for about 18 months. Definitely do a video on your Strapman. Yes, I've got to do that. You see big companies put their names on the straps. I suppose it's to deter people from taking them. Yeah, I guess so. But yeah, I've got to do one on from my mate. I might pop up there one day. Video. Yeah. That's not a V. That's a V. And Comrade Bismarck, who's out there. Just on the record, mate, if you do, can you leave the messages, if you send me via message rather than putting them in the comments, and then I have to remember to write them down. If you could stick them in the comments, it would be more helpful. But he said, and this is again, these are the people that are out there doing the thing. He says, I run 8 44 tonnes and 2 7.5 tonnes. A 100-mile job would be over £220 at least. Some jobs, depending on the area, 350 to 400 because the areas are hard to get in and out of. Don't let freight forwarders bring the price down so they can make money off your back. Stand your ground. So yes, so again, it's all out there. It's all doing it. But in relation to putting a truck on the HX, better to have your own. Definitely, I would say, have your own trailer. Right, now we're on to miscellaneous. Domain name guy says, well done, just think how, oh yeah, because of the pallet truck thing. He says, just think how many broken pallets there are out there. They didn't have their own markings on them. All of them need to do, all you need to do is invent a gravel-proof truck with 4x4 off-road tyres and radio-controlled, although scaffold planks would make a pallet truck, scaffold planks would make a pallet truck gravel-proof, or a person who would need to do is keep half a dozen scaffold trucks in the back. I see what you're saying. So basically you could have wood. So that came out wrong, didn't it? You could actually put layers of wood on top of the gravel so your pump truck could go. I actually like the idea of why has no one invented a pump truck with inflatable tyres? If you had just small rubber inflatable tyres, like or even Magliner tyres, even rubber tyres, rather than them plastic things, you've got one for indoors, one for outdoors. You haven't got one for gravel. But I can't understand why no one's... Have they done that? Does anybody know someone who's designed a pump truck that can run across gravel? And if they haven't, why not? Because it doesn't sound that tricky to me. Maybe get on to that. Pro Equus 11 says... Oh, he's on the Road Lords. He said, I tried Road Lords last night. Worst, most useless bit of rubbish. He said it sent me the wrong way at first, in the opposite direction. I've tried to send me up residential streets with weight limits. It's told me to turn left and then it told me to go right back again. I've did a video on this, which is the Road Lords versus Waze thing. I will say, when I was running in an 18 tonne, I used it all the time. And I found it very, very useful. It wasn't right all the time. You do learn to read between the lines, but I don't think I've ever come up with a truck sat nav yet which is right all the time. And I have to say, for the fact that it was free, it was brilliant. I've got to say, you know, it never really. There were times when road lords would tell me to go one way and Waze would tell me to go another way. I go, I know categorically that road lords is wrong, but a lot of times we go, oh, can't turn there, oh, can't turn there, oh, can't turn there, and it was just pinging me straight through. So, not my experience, but thanks for sharing. And right, you can all tune out now if you like. This, you know, I bought the polytunnel, so I mentioned it. I've had a couple of people give me some gardening tips. So if you want to go straight to the conclusion, we've got the timestamps underneath. You can zoom away to the bottom, or you can just tune out now because conclusion's probably a bit of a depth squib. Normally is. Am I still going? Yeah. But yeah, a couple of things to share on gardening. So, domain name guy says great polytunnel. He says I've had a few because he does the domain names, obviously domain name guy. I've had a few domain names, but just to say that I've nothing to do with the tunnel or plastic. It's a whole different story. A good video on the pump trucks. He said, oh yeah, someone else said about the pump trucks. He said you need to mark it 4 ways, because if you're going in for a pallet from one side, or if you're going in for a pallet from the other side. And I went, you don't need to park it from the other side because the thing just goes straight in. It always, if you're going in from the short end, it just goes straight in. If you're going in from the long end, you need different levels. Yeah, that's kind of that one there. And finally, we're going to give this one because it's quite long. But he says, right, to do this is Godzilla's thing. He says, growing. He said, roll up your sleeves, it's warm inside. 25 degrees is a sweet spot. Hotter and things start to suffer. To avoid this, you need airflow. When the sun, keep the doors and the flaps open. Well, I've got doors and flaps, that's good. With 9 foot... plants like a range of temperatures. Cucumbers grow massive, a real pain when it goes full triffid with 9 foot staked out plants. Best of luck with that. I'll grow them across top. Flowers are edible, by the way. That's interesting. Tomatoes love lovely nitrates. The numbers on the bottle. This is interesting. I've been looking this up. I've got to take some. I'm now learning the difference between. Oh, what is it? It's 2 different kinds of tomatoes. They've got 2 different names. Determinate and indeterminate tomatoes. Sounds like a maths equation. But I've got to do pruning, and I've got some seeds, because I thought seeds had to be grown in sort of like January, but apparently you can grow them, they say spring. Well, I'm pushing it a little bit, but I'm going to have a go. Yeah, it gives me something to do. I like learning new things. The tomatoes love nitrates, NPK, numbers on the side of the bottles of plant food need to be high in the N range. Well, I'll just get tomato food, but apparently it's not as straightforward as that. Pinch out the rubbish leaves from the base, pinch out the branches when they lose the plant and start to grow everywhere. Learn what LST is, light stress training. My God, that's another thing to get into. Is to make it a bit easier. Stake them, encourage ladybirds. Yeah, well, we're trying to encourage the ecosystem. It's kind of nice to see the little things fluttering around. My mother-in-law's allergic to wasps. I'm still working on the idea that maybe one day one will sting her. I actually like my mother-in-law, that's not fair. And strawberries. Yeah, so I've just put a load of strawberries on the table. If you don't eat the strawberries, they'll attract the wasp. No, I actually thought she's great. Right, here we go. The stadium ladybirds plants, the taste is exceptional compared to, this is why I planted them, because we actually got some real tasting tomatoes in. The wife got him in a cardboard box from somewhere and they were an arm and a leg job. And I went, how much? And then tasted them and went, oh no, these are lovely. These are really nice. Then I thought, well, then I went off on a massive tangent and decided that the answer was to buy a huge polytunnel and grow my own. I tend to do that. Right, here we go. You also get periodicals. He said, okay. The veg grows to all seasons. There's more light in the middle of the year than at the end. When the days start to lengthen and spring rocks up, plants germinate. They grow like mad until the 21st of June, which is the longest day. After this, they start to consider breeding, so fruit up. This doesn't go for all plants, but your basic A plus B or C of growing. They want food at certain times of the year, and so nitrates grow in the summer, potassium, which is K on the bottle, which obviously is the periodic table on that one there, isn't it really, for flowering and fruiting, general feed and all this kind of stuff. Most plants don't grow into next year, but some do. Little spring onions become massive if ignored in the winter. I haven't done spring onions, I've done outside to cover the polytunnel a bit to make it look less ugly. I'll get a video on it at some stage. Not actually on it, but I'll put it in the background. We've got potatoes, got beetroot, because I bought it by accident. We've got 4 different herb plants, like oregano, sage, coriander and something else, and then a load of lettuce. Because the lettuce, you can just pick the little leaves off, and then you don't have to buy lettuce. Because what we have in the bottom of our dry fridge is a load of bags of lettuce, which is kind of like rings on a tree. The fresh stuff at the bottom, and if you work all the way down to the top and you work all the way down to the bottom, it slowly becomes mush, because every time the fresh stuff gets put on top, no one takes the old stuff out, and then I've got liquid kicking around in the bottom of my fridge drawer. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Most plants don't grow to if they do. Well, oh, don't, it's too boring. A wormery is brilliant, can be made out of an old wheelie bin or tyres, if that makes sense. Wormery, interesting. FFS water doesn't run off the plant food onto the planet, so a super drooper is, I don't know, I have no idea what that means. Free fertilisers next year gets rid of kitchen scraps and grass cuttings nicely. All poo is also great. Greenhouse is fantastic to start plants off early and contain an environment where the world can't decide if it's 20 degrees or snowing tomorrow. It's also great to have somewhere to escape to in a world for an hour. Do love a greenhouse. Nearly forgot, all excited by a greenhouse. Capture the rainwater if you can. Tap is chlorine, which is okay-ish, but it has to sit there for a day or two to dissipate, otherwise it kills the plants. Rain is quite inert, so if you have someone with a fish tank or fish swamp water is also of a godsend. Boyfriend Dave is moving across the road, has got 2 fish tanks, that's worth knowing. It's worth dropping off a few fish into a water bath just to condition the water. It's interesting stuff. It's not about driving a van, but it interests me. It gives me something to do, and yeah, somewhere to escape. Just open it up. I'll be up there tomorrow because it's not so hot tomorrow. Today, I won't be up there. But and finally, Steve Campbell says, polytunnels reminds me of my community service days. Of course it does, Steve. And in fairness, I remember when I used to drop off to DHL, because DHL did the prison canteens. It comes out of Booker's, and it goes here, there and everywhere. And when you go to Ford Open Prison, which is Arundel, you don't actually go into the prison, it's on the other side of the road. And they've got a DHL depot there. And as you pull in, they've got massive polytunnels, and they're growing stuff. They've actually got their own garden centre where people can go on a Sunday and buy the plants that the prisoners grow. And I thought, as a way of getting rehabilitated back into society, once you've been stuck inside for so long, that must be really nice, to actually get outside with a bit of peace, and a bit of greenery, a bit of tranquil. It's got to be good for your mind. A lot of people that are inside, they've got very busy minds, you know. Steve, I bet you've got a very busy mind, haven't you, mate? But yeah, I thought, as a way of transitioning out, and then of course after you've got to do that, you've got to leave and get in the real world. The world we live in, driving vans for a living. You've got a reference number, mate. So, that's it. So yeah, no, like I say, I've still got stuff to do. I was trying to get this done yesterday. I've got to fit a tracer light, but it's such a beautiful day. I'm trying to get this done by lunchtime. I'm going to grab a beer, going to have a barbecue, going to listen to a bit of music, I'm going to lay down on the sunshine, on a bed, and have a rest. And then the rest of the week I'm going to be looking for the cancelled job, because we're back out again on Tuesday, guys. Guys and girls, Tuesday, time 2. Take care, take money.